Hi, let us have a quick introduction to Docker containers. Traditionally, we will be having a computer system which will be having its own resources, like say a hard disk, RAM, processor, and network interfaces. To manage all these resources, we will be having an operating system running on top of it. So the operating system will be having its own kernel. On top of the operating system, we will be having libraries and other dependencies. Now, if I have to install a software, say software 1, that might work with the libraries and the dependencies that already we are having it. On top of it, if I install another software that may not match with the library version or the dependency version, and it might create conflict. So we may end up installing this software into another host or changing the libraries which is compatible with both this software. And if you are having n number of such softwares, and it will be very difficult to find a matching library or the dependencies which is going to common for all the software. That's where the purpose of Docker coming into picture. So what happens within the Docker, I will be installing the Docker software on top of the operating system, and the Docker will be taking care of integrating or interacting with the kernel. And Docker will be deploying different containers within it. So I can have a number of containers. So this particular container will be having its own libraries which is suitable for that specific software and the dependencies. The same way, I may have another container that will be having its own software and the corresponding libraries and the dependencies. By this way, I can have any number of containers running independent of each other, as well as they doesn't need to depend on a common library across the operating system. And deploying a container is much easier, as well as it will be easier for the developers to pack the entire container and provide that as an image. Say if the container is going to have a software, some X amount of libraries and the dependencies, I will be deploying that as a image. We call that as a Docker or container image. Within that, we will be having the definition on what software, what are all the libraries and the dependencies it's going to have. I can deploy n number of such containers on top of any Docker engine. So this we call it as a Docker image, and many such Docker image will be stored within the registry. Example, Docker Hub.